Ja.
Deze extra scooper aus dem Test.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Welcome to Inside Scoop, and look who we have here. We have the queen, the champ, Katarina Herman.
Oh my
How's it
goodness.
feel?
What's up? How
How
are
you
you
doing?
doing?
Hey,
I'm
do you have-
good. I'm good.
Katarina,
Glad
do
to
you
be
have a
home.
fighting nickname?
Me?
Yeah.
What's your nickname?
Ooh. I've heard a few. People on the team are still trying to put it together. I've heard Hurricane Cat. I've heard
That's
what else? Nothing
I don't
that
know
great
that.
though. Nothing that's stuck.
None
Nothing that's
stuck yet. Okay.
My dad
Okay.
loves the K Train. I'm not a big fan, but
Hey,
that's his
Train.
one. Yeah.
We could
Rolling
find
through.
that.
But I don't really like that one. So that one stays here, but
We gotta
nothing
bring
stuck.
nicknames back a little bit. I was just thinking about this, Jeff, as you were introducing. I'm like, wait, does she not have a nickname? We need a nickname.
No,
We
especially
gotta
Paul
bring
Mitchell. So many
nicknames
people
back.
have one, but
Yeah. Everyone
Well,
else
Terry
has
Fonten
it.
has made most of them. True.
Listen, you're talking to an 18-year-old. She may not know who Jerry Fonteness is. I'm sure she probably has heard the name. Okay. Alex.
Look,
Alex, stop acting like that's such a big surprise. You know?
okay.
All right. So
All right.
we talked about this, Katarina, when you got on the backstage. The first time that we met you, you were all like, "Oh, it's Jeff, it's Alex, Inside Scoop," and it was just so crazy. You were just such a biggest fan, and and then you went and won a Warrior Cup, and it was like,
Yeah,
and since
I remember
then, everything has kind of changed, and it's just Katarina Herman's world in sport karate, so so what's it like?
It looks fine.
Troy is talking. We'll put that. Button up your shirt, Alex. Jeez. All right, so Katarina, what's it like? What's it like? You're finally on Inside Scoop. I can't believe it's been this long.
goodness,
So
it's crazy.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about it for a while. I've always wanted to be on the show. My dad and I watch every week. Even before, like when I was still on Team Diamond, we were watching every week, just hearing the inside scoop. Hearing you guys' point of view, like what's going on, even just like the tournament recaps, if like there's anything I missed. So always watching. So it's super cool to see. Like that's real, no way. But yeah, super cool. Doesn't feel real.
That's awesome.
Well, what's now that you're here? Because I guess you would call yourself an insider as well. Then
I guess.
So-
I have 2 shirts, so if that makes it official.
yes, that makes it official.
So,
What would be what's one of your favorite moments of the show?
Ooh, moments. That's hard. I have favorite guests. I love when you guys had Richard Plowden on, when you guys had Cam on. That was really cool. Way back when you guys had Elise and Casey, and I think
That was a
Chelsea
very
as
good show.
well. That was a good one.
Chelsea, I think was our first interview actually.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was a great one.
Yeah, that one was really good. I don't think I have a favorite moment, but definitely favorite guest. Richard Plowden talking about the old Budweiser team. That was incredible. Like the old teams, hearing all that, because there's a lot of stuff like I never knew. Like I'd never come up in conversation. I haven't been around long enough to see it. So it was really cool hearing his side and having the 2 parts. That was really cool. Lots of insight, lots of inside scoop on all that, which was really cool.
Yes. That's
But
awesome.
and then I
Go ahead,
remember your dad as well. He's a super fun and cool, nice guy too. Because I met him same time we met. So now he listens too all the time. That's awesome.
I can literally hear you guys echoing downstairs. Like I guarantee
listening
my
right
whole
now.
family is watching right below me.
That's awesome.
I know my
All right,
dad's
so-
my dad's ear to ear smile right now.
All right,
That's cool.
Leandra's saying he's saying now this girl can fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alex Lane's watching. Great job. Keep on
Thank you.
kicking.
What up,
Yes.
Fast Lane?
What's up?
The man.
So, Katarina, tell everyone just your background because some people just thought you just bursted on the scene. But tell everyone where you go to martial arts school, how long you've been in martial arts, where you started training. Give them that, and then we'll just talk about your kick butt weekend.
Cool. Sounds good. So, my name's Katarina Herman. Most people call me Katie. Honestly, nobody outside the karate world calls me Katarina, so it's an adjustment, but it helps separate the two. I'm 18. I've been training since I just turned 8, so about 10 years now. I train with Trevor and Casey Nash at United Family Martial Arts, just about an hour from Toronto, Canada. I didn't start with those guys until about 2020. So I got my white belt, my black belt through Jim Flood, who had a part in training with Trevor and stuff back in the day. My dad knew him. He lived super close to us. So I was in dance at the time when I was about 6 and 7. And my dad said, hey, you want to give it a shot? We've got karate school down the street opening. I know the guy from back in the day. I know it'll be good. It'll be legit. So you want to give it a try? So I did. It really stuck. I did it with my brother, who's 2 years older than me. It didn't really stick with him. He quit around blue belt, but went all the way through. By the time Mr. Flood, he admitted, he said, hey, I think this is as far as I can take you. I highly suggest going to United. They were also super close to where I live. At this point, you're in Trevor's hands. So I moved there right after the last Irish Open because I remember showing up and everybody was just coming back. So then I had to deal with the aftermath of the training and all that of how everybody did at the Irish Open, which was rough, but definitely cool to just jump headfirst into that United style that, our 2 hour, 3 hour Sunday trainings, like all that was a lot to jump into, kind of completely new to, I guess, that kind of level. But yeah, so I've been training with those guys since about 2020. For the first almost 2 years of training with them, it was fully online. Like everything was fully shut down in Canada. So just did kicks in my room, had to move my bed over in order to make space to just train and try to get as good of a workout as I could in for about 1.5 years, which was rough, but I think definitely helped with my technique because it was kind of a switch over going to Trevor's. His style is a little bit different. The chamber is a little bit different. It's all a little bit different. So just being able to drop everything, train just techniques, just the basics, and then go back into it once everything opened up with sparring and ramping up the pace. I thought that was helpful, but annoying nonetheless. Before NASCA, I was all WKC. I did WKC Worlds from about 2016 to 2019. Got 8 golds, pointed continuous, 4 each, and figured
Damn.
thank you. But a lot of people don't know that. Figured,
Yeah.
I'm on to bigger and better things. WKC was really just prominent in Canada at the time, but figured there's a whole world of NASCA competition out there. A lot of people I haven't fought yet.
It's still pretty prominent there.
Yeah, definitely very, very prominent. There's a tournament this weekend I'll be at. It's a local tournament, the Forest City Challenge. Check it out. But
Yes.
yeah, it was only WKC. So by the time after COVID and I started training with United, they had brought up, it was about 2 weeks before the tournament, Ocean State, 2022. I figured I'd give it a shot. Why not try it? It was something I'd never seen before. Different rooms. We got a night show. We had all this and that. So Ocean State was my first full, I guess was my first full NASCA experience, which was really awesome. 2022. So pretty recently.
Well, wait, no, because we met each other earlier that year, didn't we?
Ocean State?
No, in 2022. Didn't we meet each other in Chicago in 2022?
No, it was 2023.
Maybe I'm thinking of 2021 Ocean State.
No,
yeah.
right.
No, it was 2023.
It was 2023.
Yeah,
because then this past year was 2024, which is the second time I've been. Yeah.
This is really fast. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna pause right there, Katarina. Jeff, isn't that nutty? It does. It kind of feels to me like you've been around 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Me too.
At that level, well, not that you haven't, but at the level of you competing and winning and being in finals, that to me, it kind of feels that way. And then until Jeff just said that, like, no, that was 2023. I had to go, this is just a freaking year ago. That's it. What?
Like a
Okay.
year and a half.
Continue.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half. Yeah, it's
All
been
right.
a year and a half. And it's like we're just getting used to her being on stage and just, it's like, oh, this happens all the time. But it's really just been a year and a half, and that's really impressive.
Thank
That's
you.
really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, so Ocean State, yeah, you had me second guessing, but yeah, Ocean State was the first one, 2022, where I went with the team, vaguely met Paul Mitchell because Casey was with us. Met Damon, not a lot of people on the team, but had a chance to just introduce myself to Coach Damon. Fast forward, Amerikick. So that was the only year I'd fought juniors. So I was in 16, 17 that year. Went to Amerikick, fought up for the first time, and won the Waco open weight belt, which was my first adult win. Because Waco, you're allowed to fight up in that, which was.
And
which
now
was
eyeballs are on you.
Yes, that's
Right?
when I started. That was the first time anybody had, like, even after I won, like Bailey approached me, said something about like, oh, like now people are like offering you things, like something like that. Like the first time I ever really spoke with those guys. So that year it was only 3 tournaments. So I started with Ocean State, and then it was Amerikick, and then U.S. Open. I did the Paul Mitchell seminar, paid for it, was a student at the Paul Mitchell seminar, really got to connect with the team a little bit more, to connect with Coach. And I went to that one with my dad and I think like 2 teammates. So I had nobody to coach me. So I figured, hey, Damon, after we did the seminar, I asked him, hey, I'm not really familiar with a lot of people here. Would you mind coaching me throughout the weekend if you're free? He coached me. I won like all my divisions in juniors, which was really helpful considering just getting eyes, like him being able to see.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I had no idea how lucky I was as a junior then and there, like having him behind me, just all black United gi. And then Bristol was that year. So Jesse Ray approached at
he shouted that out in the comments too.
Yes. Jesse Ray approached about Bristol at Amerikick. And that was the first time I really got to know, all the top people. Like Katana was there, Peyton Bender, all the guys, Brandon Ballou, like Bailey, Devin, Darren, all those guys. So that was a big, but they were all strangers. So it was a really awesome trip, but definitely introductory. But, yeah,
okay, cool. Wait a minute. So U.S. Open.
Yes.
You take the seminar. I think that was an appropriate thing to do. It's good. Yeah. Obviously, it was impactful for many reasons. And then you asked Damon to be your coach for the weekend. Yeah. I say that's ballsy.
I tried to connect it to the whole Trevor Nash thing. I was like, sir, big fan, student of Trevor Nash, because they fought back in the day, all that. Like, yeah. Please.
There you go.
Oh, I mean, that's awesome that because it worked. Because here's the thing: the cool thing about Damon is always looking, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't always tell people he's looking, but he always is. Yeah. And what you think he's looking at, he's looking at that, but there's stuff he's looking at that you don't know, right? Absolutely. He's always scouting without saying he's scouting anything. The crazy thing is, you went up and we're like, would you scout me, please?
That's awesome.
Even at Atlantic City, I did the same thing to Coach Conroy. I don't know how it came to be, but same thing. I didn't have a coach, and I was fighting on stage that night. First time fighting on stage. Got talking with Mr. Conroy, and he ended up coaching me that weekend. Coached me on stage, and then that allowed me to.
I want to hear how that experience went.
That was awesome. I love Coach Conroy. He's incredible. He's a great coach. You can tell that's him. That's who he is. Like, even just the subtle things, the little things that he says, and how he hypes you up and helps you warm up, and just how he gets in your head. It's incredible. Super valuable. Super awesome.
Tell me something, because Coach gets all the love in this show, but tell me.
Yes.
Tell me something that he did. Like, what did Coach Conroy do that you're like, all right, he did this. This is definitely different, because he does some things that are different than other coaches.
I don't even know. It was so long ago. It was just how he like the subtle things, like how he went about things, how he was almost calm, because he didn't really know me very well. He was just so calm in his just his manners and his words. I don't know. It was just different. Like, it didn't feel like he was telling me what he would tell everybody. It felt specific, even though we didn't really know each other very well. He still knew somewhat of like my abilities, knew what to lean into, knew what to lean off of. Like, it was just really, really cool to see that kind of, and feel firsthand that kind of high level coach. I guess it was, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Just the little things, like just how calm he was, but confident. Definitely.
How did it feel?
Super awesome, super cool, because he's coached like Trevor, he's coached Damon. Like, it was incredible. It was really cool. I felt really lucky, really, really blessed, really lucky, because you don't get, that's not a common opportunity, especially as a junior. Like, I was 16. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So Katarina, let's fast forward a little bit. As people know, like, Warrior Cup really was like that coming out party, and you had that amazing, just weekend and amazing fight with Morgan Platt on stage, winning the, your first Warrior Cup. And then, from there, that was when, we can get into that a little bit after, but, that was when Paul Mitchell came, and it was like, all right, that was when everything kind of changed. And now, honestly, what's funny is, like, even I remember last year, the middle of the year, if you had told me you had only been fighting, like, we have only seen you for 6 months, I still, would think it's been a lot longer.
It would have felt really weird.
Because when you came out, it was like, okay, this is a new puzzle for someone for all the division to figure out how to right? How to piece together, because you bring something different. So explain, I don't want you to share all your stuff, but everyone can kind of see your style, right? And I've seen, and I've been to, and I've taught seminars at Trevor's school. So I know how the chamber is. I know how this, how the training is. Explain that and where that comes from,
Where it comes from. I think the chamber itself, and just that kind of fighting style, I think it comes from a big collective, Chelsea, Mr. Nash working, even like before I trained at United with Mr. Flood, it was the similar kind of thing. A universal chamber is what he called it. Just that kind of on an angle on that 45 and straight down the center line. So you can basically, the whole idea was to be able to do any kick from that same position.
Yep.
So I think it's just from a big collective of lots of sources, but Mr. Nash really fine-tuned it and then allowed it to kind of properly connected it to the entire fighting style. So if you're fighting super upright and a little more weight back, that's going to change how you fight generally. It's going to change how you blitz, you punch, your kick, your move. It's going to change everything. So it was really cool to see how that pieced into the grand scheme of fighting at United instead of just one kind of chamber, if that makes any sense. But,
well, I'm kind of curious, what was your fighting style before you got there?
I was really sideways. I wasn't square at all. The square shoulders is a Trevor thing. I was really sideways, overly aggressive. I had no defense, and couldn't really, some just like a defensive side kick and a reverse punch. And I would overextend, a lot of overextending, a lot less control for sure. But yeah, definitely different. Yeah. Super cool.
So I love that chamber. I use that chamber. Jeff, I think you use that same chamber.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
But that chamber, it's a lot of people use it, but they don't always use it the right way. And a lot of people hate on it because they'll hate on it and they'll say, "Oh, your chamber's sloppy. You don't have a flat chamber. Look at it. This can get jammed easily." But not if the heel is at your shoulder, right? What do you jam there?
Yeah.
Right. It's not a sloppy chamber. It's very specific. It's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
well,
I'll never forget.
The foot is in between you and the opponent, not just where the knee is down, and that's the key
Weapons
thing.
First. Weapons first.
Yep, put the weapon first. Yep.
Yeah.
If you run into something, you're gonna get foot.
I think I told this to Trevor before, but there was a seminar he was giving. I didn't even realize he was giving a seminar. I would think it was probably like New England Open. And I kind of went in and I saw some of the stuff he was doing, and I am like, this is freaking genius. I'm gonna do this. Right. And then I'm like, I better get out of here. Nobody noticed that I just kind of stumbled upon this and did not pay. So
Get out of here. Yeah. So much of it's mental. So much of it's like game planning, mental, a strategy for when you're up, when you're down. Like that's one thing that really took my game to, I guess, another level, was just working one-on-one with him. Working one-on-one with him and fine-tuning the things that we had then done in class, just like your standard chamber, your movement, that kind of thing. Because, Mr. Cleary, all the other locations do the same stuff, same brand, same school, but
True.
Working one-on-one with him really helped game plan and really take off in that sparring game.
Well, awesome. Trevor, Casey, definitely Chelsea, they get all the love here on this show as well.
Yes.
But I can't imagine that it's just a whole room of 50 people just fighting the exact same way when you go there.
Not at all.
Right. But it's the only thing people think. Everybody thinks that, like, oh no, everybody just fights like that. That's just how everybody does it. And it's not, right? Tell me what else it's like when you're training like some of the people, because listen, I'll just say, I think Chelsea's the polar opposite, right? Yeah. So, which I think works great for both styles, but you'd be the one to tell me. I've never stepped foot in the school.
Honestly, to be completely honest, I have never met Chelsea Nash.
That's what I was going to ask.
I have never met Miss Chelsea Nash, and I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy. All right.
Nuts.
I heard Trevor tried to get her back in, like, probably last year, and just with her work and all that, like, it just didn't happen. But I've never seen her, never met her in person before, never. And so, yeah, but her fighting style is definitely pretty much complete opposite. Like Hunter Stevens, Ben Welch, those guys train with us on a weekly basis, and they can, but that's not their style. So
yeah, if Hunter started fighting like you,
he's been talking about doing Taekwondo. Just saying, I don't know if that was a secret or not, but he was talking to me about it.
Do Taekwondo, do Korean, but like that's not his best strength. Like Hunter's, he's got like tree trunks for quads. Like if he tried to do that, like it doesn't have his best skill set. But
I don't know. I think for a lot of the guys, it's hip mobility. It's their hips. Their hips are too tight, and they don't work them as much as they need to. And then they just have a crazy explosive blitz. Like, why do they need to? They don't really awesome movement. But yeah, it's definitely different. That's a really good point of, like, one thing I'm really grateful for with United is, even though it comes from Trevor and that kind of style, everybody fights different. I wouldn't say there's two people. Like, Savannah and I are kind of similar, but it's still different. Like, I wouldn't say there's any two people that fight the exact same at the school. Even Elise, Elise trains with us, like Elise Gurrell, and same thing, like upright posture, chamber, but different, still different. So really,
I would say all three of you are a bit different as well.
Yeah.
Like if I had
similar, but different.
Right. And there are some people that are like, no, this is how you defend kicks. Well, yeah, but like if it worked against you, that doesn't mean like Elise could find a way around that, whatever that defense might be, or Savannah or whatever it may have. Because you guys, just because you kick and you kick with that chamber and you kick well, doesn't mean that that's this is it. Like, no,
depends how you use it.
There's so many different nuances to this thing. I love this conversation.
All right, so Katarina, let's get into this weekend, because you won everything. You were the women's open weight, the grand champ, and the team champ. So explain your weekend and just what were some of the big highs? What was maybe your favorite fight or most difficult fight? Share with that.
No, it was a great weekend. It was an awesome weekend. It was a little bit of a smaller turnout, but the people who did come were bringing the heat. They were bringing it. It was cool to see. I didn't know Brandon Ballou had a younger sister, and she was fighting. I think she just moved up from juniors or something. I'm not sure, but she was good. It was really cool to see a new face, always, especially in the middle of the year. But yeah, it was good. Teams was really good. Open weight was good. The Friday was definitely tricky. I tried to get continuous in there, but couldn't. Couldn't make time. But yeah, no,
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean couldn't make time? What do you
it
mean?
was at the same time as open weight. Like they were running it at the same time, or like
Oh,
way too close to where
okay.
I wasn't gonna run from division,
Okay.
like for one fight. But
Yeah.
I tried. Same with U.S. Open. I tried, but couldn't get there in time. But yeah, it was really good. There was lots of good competition. We had nice refs. The refs were good. Yeah, it was pretty standard. It was
So
good.
the final was you and Savannah, right? So, explain what that's like fighting someone that you train with and you see all the time.
Yeah, it's all right. It's pros and cons. It's kind of annoying considering we fly all the way out there and get there, and it ends up just being us. But I was happy that it was us in the finals. Like I would much rather fight her, or her and Katana. Like I would much rather fight them in the finals because then it comes down to us than in the same bracket. Like, but it's pros and cons. It's frustrating because we both know what we're gonna do. Like I know what she trains. She knows what I train. She knows what I'm good at. I know what she's good at. But it's cool to now start to see the differences in our fighting being on separate teams. She's starting to use her body punch a little bit more, lead reverse punch back fist, which is a little straight up B. We don't really do that at United, so and even me like just using my back fist more, a little cammy, like it's cool to see the kind of evolution of both of our fighting, considering who we're around and who we're getting influenced by. But it's annoying because fighting Savannah again, but it's cool to see that progression and how we both push each other for sure is really
Well,
fun.
the hard part has to be like, all right, when we would train, and let's say, okay, you're not around for this, you didn't see it personally, but Hamid Farouzi was a very good fighter when he was competing. And there was a period of time where he would have trouble with Ryan McGriff. Okay. And Ryan McGriff, still, people hate on his kicking style. He was one of the better kickers. And I put him on my list. He's one of the better kickers of all time because it's so freaking hard to stop. Right. So I would make it mainly me, all right, would trash talk him in training, all right, about Ryan. And so one time I'm like, you know what? Apparently this is how to beat you. So I'm just going to stand back and then just swing my leg in a circle and I'll beat you. And it pissed him off. You guys can't do that. All right. You can't do that. That reminds me, and I got to tip my cap to Greg Betlock because there was a period of time where he and I were in the same weight class. Right. And he and I would trash talk each other more than like humans would, right? Anybody else. This guy was super smart. He tried this one move on me one time and intentionally bombed it just to see if he could get the distance right and then never did it again. And then when we were fighting each other for first place in the division because we're in the same weight class, dude freaking dropped me. And I'm like, where the hell did I had no idea this move was coming because it came out of literally left field, right? And I'm like, so then he beat me. And I'm like, where the frick did that come from? And he goes, okay, remember in April when I was trying this? And I'm like, remember in April? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's how much that dude had the game plan. And then shut the hell up, didn't say nothing. That's what you guys got.
Secret game plan. No.
Yeah. I'm not built for that. I'm built for just running my mouth.
So Kat, so you also won the women's grand this time over Jaden Tuitt. So she beat Katana for the lightweight. So that was a big win for her, and made it up there. And you had a great fight for that overall and won that. How does that feel when you win everything? What's that feeling like?
It's pretty unique. Alex always says that it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to win everything. It's a lot of consistency when people have time to adjust in that weekend. That's the hard part is like, even if you have a really good Friday, just try to keep that ball rolling into Saturday because you don't really know how people are going to adjust, considering they've already seen you that weekend. Even if you try to do something different, like whatever it is, they've already seen you or they've already fought you. So just to see kind of how people adjust in the second day, how you adjust, how that carries through. It's hard, but used to it. So it gets easier with time for sure. But yeah, it's really tricky, but it feels great. Like I feel really, really lucky and just, I guess, honored to have the opportunity to come out on top with all the people that were there after doing it before this year.
Yeah.
Well, you and Katana have gotten a chance to fight each other quite a bit now.
Yeah.
And on the team, I'm sure, I don't even know, maybe you guys have had conversations about your matches with each other, but did you plan to fight her? Were you mentally planning that this was probably going to happen?
I guess. I mean,
I would have.
I'm mentally planning to fight
Not saying
everybody.
anything against Brianna, but I would have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely since we fought for both open weight and overall at US Open, like it's something that historically, like it's likely.
Yeah.
But I feel like focusing too much on one person takes away from the individual's game. When I tend to focus on who the other person is, what they're gonna do, I start to throw away the fundamentals of what I want to accomplish. If that makes any sense. So definitely, I guess, preparing for it, anticipating it, but not too much to where I still know what I want to accomplish regardless. Know what I want to accomplish with X type of fighter instead of X person. More just, but even just drilling and stuff, like prepare for it, but still don't put my eggs in one basket because anything can happen. But, yeah.
No, that's the right way to look at it, because, styles make fights. Someone might have an easier time against you than maybe somebody else. And we've kind of talked about that, but you're less emotional than I am when I'm out there.
Practice. Takes practice.
Yeah. But that's why we love this game. We like your fighting style. We like you. You're a fantastic competitor. I don't know. We're going to see you around a whole bunch more. You're not going anywhere for at least another 10, 15, 20 years, right?
No, sir, not at least for another 12 years when I'll be in 30 plus.
Well, yeah, you're still going to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I'd be down
Katarina-
to dive into full contact stuff, whatever that.
Oh,
whatever
okay.
that takes,
Whoa. You might. No. Is that something that you could conceivably see yourself doing in the next few years?
Absolutely. I've always loved it. I'd started with kickboxing before I did point fighting. When I was 9, I fought in the Waco National Championships and beat in the 13 and under division. Like, really, I don't want to say it's my foundation, but I started competitively more heavily in kickboxing before point. So, of course, I've fallen in love with point, with United and all that. Like, I want to really establish myself more in NASCA first before I dive into that kind of thing. But I can definitely see myself going more a full contact professional route in the far future.
What would you want to do?
Karate combat would be cool, but I don't really know what direction they're going in. So it all depends on what's around during the time. Like probably in 5-6 years. Like even what Bailey did, that was kind of I had never heard of the league before, but just like little opportunities like that, and then just start growing that. I'd be more than happy to. But
you can do that combat taekwondo or the taekwondo combat. That there's actually two different ones, and I didn't know that there were two different ones until at AAU Nationals. And they're like, oh, that's the guy that owns combat taekwondo. That's the one that owns taekwondo combat. Like, wait, what? Yeah, they're two different ones, and now they're trying to get together. So because both of them feel like one copied the other, but I think they're going to unite and then make it a bigger thing. So that could be something as well.
Yeah, so absolutely. Even Waco Worlds, like Waco Worlds. I've never been to a Waco Worlds, something like that, or where 1 year I can hopefully win both, like light contact, point, low kick, something like that.
Whoa.
There we go.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah. All
right, so Katarina, before we finish up, let us know what was your best fight of the weekend, but also maybe a couple of the fights that you watched that you thought, because you're as big of a fan of all this as we are too. So what were some of the best fights that you saw?
Okay.
Or
best fights. best fights that I saw, Keely and Peyton really had it out. Because I know they're friends, they train together in that.
It's
It was really
the same
cool.
thing, right? Yeah.
It was really cool to see both of them adjust and how they turned up the gas like for each other. That was interesting. It was really close. Both of them killed it. That was a really cool fight to see. Even Brianna Ballou and Peyton, I think. Yeah, Brianna Ballou and Peyton. Because still, I'd never seen Brianna before, so it was cool to see how she fought and how she hung with everybody. Who else? Savannah and Katana fought, and they had never fought before. I'm pretty sure that was their first time ever fighting.
Wow,
And Savannah won in overtime in open weight. Took off with a reverse punch and got there first, but right off the line. But that was a really cool fight, just because I'd never seen them fight before, and Savannah and I are kind of similar, but she's a little more patient. So I was really cool to see kind of how Katana responded to that and how Savannah then responded to that, especially it being their first time. My favorite fight, I really liked my fight against Savannah on stage because she pushes me. It's always a toss up. Like it's hard to game plan for her. Because since we train together, like I already said, we train together, we have kind of a similar game plan. So it's not like in the school, if they're telling us one game, like the proper game plan, they're not going to tell us how to beat it because that's what we're supposed to do. So I kind of have to figure that one out on my own, which is always a really good time with her. And she always pushes, especially having Mr. G behind her. He's awesome. That was a really good fight. What else? Even team fights we fought. Sorry.
How old is Savannah?
I think she's like 22, 21 or 22.
All right, so she's just a couple of years older than you. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I know she's been training with United her whole life. She's OG.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Yeah, she is. She's been around. I mean, I remember her on the NBL circuit when she was her and her sister when they were under 11. I mean, they've been around for years. So, and I still say they're
this year, I think.
Yeah, she was at Toronto. Yeah. So she and I still get her name wrong. So that's what's always funny. So, but she says she likes the way I say her name, even though it's not right, but it's funny. So I added another letter in there somehow. So, all right, one more fight before, and we're gonna bring in Tim. The men's team fighting, man, that was a great way to finish the event. Straight up versus JPM. JPM pulling it out with the win, and Devin just really like bringing it, man, to say, hey, this is, like just being that anchor, which has been cool to see Devin step up in that way this year for the team.
Absolutely. No, it was really cool. It was really good.
Well, he's such a universal fighter. He can fight lightweight guys and he can fight, super heavyweight guys without really having to change much about his style. He's a pretty versatile guy.
Mm-hmm. He's Taekwondo. He's Taekwondo, so he's got his leg.
There's a lot of Taekwondo guys who can't go very versatile, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, he's awesome.
I think. But here's the other thing I'll say about that team matchup. I think the team matched up pretty well in JPM's favor with that one.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who won the coin toss.
I have no idea.
I think straight up won. Or straight up put Jarvis up first. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I didn't see that part, but yeah, Jarvis and Cam was cool. They fought earlier in their division or something like that. Earlier on Saturday they fought. So it was cool to see a rematch of that. That was really awesome. It was really close.
Yeah, it's cool to see it when your side wins.
It's cool. The matchup's cool. The matchup's cool because Cam's always taller than the other person, and he's not.
Is winning. That matchup is really cool for you guys. That matchup is not cool for the other side.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Oh well.
All right, so Katarina, when are we going to see you? Are we going to see you at Amerikick, or will it be Diamonds? Will be the next time?
I'm trying for Amerikick. I'm still not sure. I'm still trying to figure out how to get there. Not a lot of teammates of mine are going, so I've got to figure that one out. I'd love to go. I wasn't able to go last year, so I've only been once when I was 16. So I really want to go again, but not sure. So that's a maybe. That's a solid maybe. Definitely Diamonds. All Paul Mitchell will be there. Everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will definitely have you back on. And remember, the next 2 weeks is we are celebrating 5 years of Inside Scoop. So make sure you let everybody know and share. And thank you for being an insider.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
No
Thanks for
problem.
coming
Thank
on, Katarina.
Of course. Thank you. See you guys.
Yeah. All right. So this guy, I've been watching him in the backstage, and if you don't know Tim, he's flipping his commas. All right. See, I had to share that. What up, Tim?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going? You're still training right now.
Yeah. Well, I was vacuuming a second ago, but you know.
Oh, bro. So, how you been, man? How's recovering from the weekend? And tell everyone just like how crazy busy you've been this year. This has been one of your more active years. Yeah.
I mean, recovery. I didn't really I didn't run as many forms as I normally do, so I'm pretty good right now. I could probably do kind of what you did that one week where at US Open, where you had all those forms before you. I think you did like 22 forms that week, something like that. Yeah. ISKA was like his 22nd form of that week. It was insane. So I could probably keep going right now, but yeah, this year I've been competing a lot. It's been a lot of fun. It's really my first year running the entire NASCA circuit, so did not realize the grind it was like on the body. But I've been having a lot of fun. I call it my bucket list year. I'm not dying or anything, but I call it my bucket list year.
Did you say the entire circuit?
Yeah.
Every single one?
I've been to every single one on the World Tour this year.
That's cool.
So it's intense. Yeah. Like the most you probably did before that was probably what, that year where you and I like kind of traveled every year, 2013 probably. Before that.
Yeah. I think it was like 5 tournaments I did that year.
I thought it was
what
more
made
than that.
you want to just flip the switch and do that this year? What made you go, I'm doing every event?
I don't know. Well, I think I had a conversation with Corky Sykes. Corky Sykes is an NBL legend. And I don't know, like we were talking, we were reminiscing, and really it kind of got to the point where we were talking about how bad he wished he could still compete. And you know, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to build my school, and I was like, well, I don't really want the last of my best karate to expire sitting on the shelf, you know? So I was like, okay, well, now's better than never. So that's pretty much the reason. And, you know, my school, everyone's been supporting me a lot, you know, because when you compete, you have to close, obviously. And all my parents have been super understanding. We haven't had a single person from our school be like, you know, not really happy that you guys are closing so much. So that's been a blessing for sure, to not have to worry about that aspect of things, I guess.
So wait, so your school, it's just you. You don't have the benefit of having like a big, huge staff.
Yeah, well, so, I have Rissa Kalar. She, my girlfriend, my better half. Yeah, so she's a world champion in her own right. So but she's been competing there with me. So, yeah.
Right, but like I mean, like a full staff of like.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, 3, 4, 5 instructors that can run classes when you're not. You don't have that. So literally, if you're gone, you're closing for 2-3 days minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially now, man, because tournaments start really early now on Friday.
Yep.
And that's when you do all your stuff. Most of your competing happens on Friday, really.
It's true. Yeah. And the US Open, we get to close on Tuesday, I think.
Right.
What?
Right.
So you've been closed for a week.
Basically.
Well, it kind of benefited you with it being holiday week, like with it being right in there. So then it doesn't raise too many red flags. You're like, 4th of July week anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much.
All right. So Tim, what let's go back to before we talk about this weekend. Let's talk about which you and I, if people don't know, Tim and I have been really good friends, very high-level competitors against each other for what was it, the first time? 2009 Survivor was the first time we competed against each other? Yes. So on the NBL circuit, and then again, when both of us said, hey, let's go back and do some NASCA as well, we kind of did that a lot of times, rooming together. we're definitely very close and now teammates, which is really cool on Team Revolution. But winning the ISKA title and being able to be a senior and make that happen, what was that like for you? To know that, hey, this is the first time they've ever really done that for us, and you were one of the people they chose to be up there. What was that feeling like?
It was a lot of pressure, man. I was a little scary. It was a little. I haven't felt quite that level of nerves that I did backstage in a long time. Which honestly, that made it so much better. It made it so much more exciting. I've gotten to compete on the ISKA stage doing demo team before, but that was my first time by myself. It was an honor. It was an honor for sure. I really wanted to make sure that no matter what, I had a win or lose, I had a solid, strong performance. So hopefully that opportunity can be around for years to come. I think it'd be really cool to see, all the current competitors right now when they're at that senior age. It'd be really cool to see them back up there.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
It was exciting. It was fun.
And I mean, what's been fun too about it is especially since you got back the past 2 years, since I've kind of been doing NASCA again, people, have just been talking a lot about our divisions and how fun they are to watch, because you have myself, Sam Diaz, Kevin Kowalczyk, who was doing great things. Nick Kane will come back and do it from every now and then, right? You got Joseph Bine. You got so many great competitors. Then you on the traditional side, you got Sam Diaz, you got Eric Tremblay, you got Joey Castro, who is a beast to go against. And that's just kind of getting started, right? And there's more too that are coming or on their way. So it's been exciting to compete with you, but also for all of us to kind of wave that flag to be like, hey, we need that respect as well, right?
Right. And not just us. The 50 plus, 40 plus and 50 plus, they've been going at it too. Man, there's been some battles lately, especially in the US Open battle and Battle of Atlanta, the 50 plus ring. Woo, it was awesome. It was, the only thing, and some of those guys, they can still trick. Like they're not allowed to in the rules, but they could. Right. Mike Ledford, my instructor, I saw him at a local tournament like a few weeks ago. He was throwing aerials and they were beautiful, immaculate. And he's 55, somewhere around like that, somewhere around there.
That's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not supposed to happen.
You're supposed to have hip replacements on the spot. If somebody pulls an aerial at 55, what is this?
Oh yeah, and he's like doing like splits and pulling himself up. Oh, it's crazy. It's awesome. Yeah, the 50 plus ring, they've been going at it probably just as hard as we have.
Yeah, and they are the 60 plus, and like the women, they're over there killing it as well. So it's really cool that certain events, next month, 2 weeks, AmeriKick is going to be doing some extra things for the 40 plus. Toronto every year does some great things for the 30 plus as well as the 50 plus. By putting the Grands winners on stage and doing an extra prize money for that. So it's great to see that. We would love to see that more. One thing we talked about, yes, thank you, Michael. And congrats on your win as well, this weekend, because he's a promoter. He still competes. Okay. But let's talk about this. This is something we're not on here to complain, but what are some things that we'd like to see, more of? And this is something that you and I have talked about, especially like this weekend. And it's just a little thing, but why are our trophies different, right? Because what does it say? It says 30 plus overall grand champion forms overall, right? But it doesn't always get treated that same way. And I think they can at least give us the same overall trophy as the 18 plus or as whoever else, or even the juniors, right?
They didn't.
No, we get the plastic cup.
Yeah, it's interesting because our level of if you look at I guess the tournament usually funnels, right? It funnels from the mass divisions, and then it funnels into the smaller ones, and And our division, our grand champions are run at the runoffs time of the day, and that's in the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, Battle of Atlanta like 2 years ago, we had our grands happen at like 9 a.m. or something like that, which is cool. It's fine. But yeah, like
you got more time to go get chicken and waffles.
I'm sorry.
You got more time to go get chicken and waffles in Atlanta.
That's right. That's right. Go get the varsity. Yeah. So, but like, trying to pick my words.
Yeah, I know.
Right way.
Yes.
We're competing against the traditionals, and then we have 20 years of competitors that are funneling into our grand champion. It's a little bit unfortunate that the prizes that we're getting, I don't really care about the cash prizes as much because, it's not like the old days where you could make money at going to karate tournaments. I don't think anybody makes money by, makes enough money to pay for their next tournament, kind of like how I used to do NBL, where if I lost the first tournament of the year, that would pretty much be done. But if I won that one, it would pay for the next one and pay for the next one and pay for the next one. That doesn't really exist right now as much. But for me, it would just be nice to get the same equivalent level of award, just because it looks nice in the school, and we're getting runoff type trophies, but we're doing overalls. We're having to compete against CMX traditional through 20 years of competition. So
like again, for both of us, let's talk about from this weekend. It was you, myself, and Joey in both grands. You know what? If I had done that in 18 plus, it would have been the same thing. I was going to go against Joey. If I would have won my Korean division, I was probably going to go against Joey, and possibly DG. But Joey's in there, just like I'm in there. You're in there. Like, we've all won so many overalls in different circuits everywhere. So, but then you put in traditionals versus open versus everything. It's really just intense. And even look at our grand at US Open, where there's like 5 of us who every single one has won a grand before this year. Every single one has won many different, accolades. So it's been exciting. Right. And so it's just like get that extra, at least just that recognition, or that, hey, thank you,
Right. I mean, our grands for Capitals, forms of weapons, it was the 3 of us in you, me, and Joey, and then in weapons it was you, me, and Joey, and then Mike
Tim.
from Team United, the Georgia United.
I thought he said Mr. Marks. I thought it was Marks. Tim Marks.
Marks. Sorry, Marks.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know why I thought his name was Michael. Yeah. Oh, Tim Marks. He has the same name as me. What? Yeah. Tim Marks. Anyways, but like but 3 of us were all 3 of us actually were our ISKA champions. So that's a pretty tough senior grands, especially since all 3 of us were just on stage at the US Open. How many weeks ago was that? Not very many.
That was a month ago. Yeah, at least.
Okay.
Less.
Let's talk about the level of competition in that division. Tim, maybe it's now, but you tell me if it's not. What would you say your peak martial arts skill competition year or years would be? What would you say, and age as well?
2017 was probably my peak, I guess. That was the year I did Waco.
Okay.
And I think I was 27, so around there at that time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would you say, Jeff? I'm going to ask you the same question. Did you just no, it's because you're a vampire. It doesn't change. That's why.
That's hard for me. Well, because I've gone through different phases, right? Like I had that phase where I actually didn't do Korean for 2-3 years, and I just focused on open forms and creative forms and musical, and that was like 2009 to 2011. Well, not really. Yeah, 2008 to 2010, and then I started the 2011 to that. But I would say
give a window, and just give kind of a window.
That was your peak open form.
2012 was my peak for creative forms. Yeah, for musical forms. 2012 was for Korean. I don't know. I think I'm still getting better, but that 2014 Super Grands overall was probably the best I did at that point. That was 10 years ago. To me, that was, and I think I had just turned 30. Maybe I was 31. Well, yeah, I'm 40. Yeah, so yeah, I was 30. But so yeah, I mean, it really depends because again, it goes through different phases of what I was focusing on.
All right, so let's look at what that is. So you both said
We said around
between
27
around the same time
30.
frame. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when would you say? Well, for Jeff, you were 3.5 years old probably, but when would you say you started competing at that high at this level, right? When did you enter into this level of competition? Well, what would you say, Tim?
I know the answer. I think I probably got to this level at 2013.
No. I don't know.
Oh.
What I'm talking about is like, when would you say you started competing at high level NBL events or NASC events? That's the question I'm asking.
When did I start competing at high? My first U.S. Open was 2006, but that was a bunch of fourth places. So
No. But that doesn't matter. The placement. That's when you really got that exposure.
Okay.
Jeff was playing 94, right?
As a black belt, yeah, 94. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at what we're looking at. Okay. So Jeff, you're just a little bit older than Tim, right? And you guys are both competing together. And there's guys older than both of you, right? Who, Tim, you just said they're like, these guys are still tricking,
Right.
Post whatever joint replacement, because I there's no way, because I'm a guy at 55 is doing aerials. I refuse to believe it, but whatever. Right. So look at the range of martial arts skill and ability, and it's really the years of knowledge and exposure and constant martial arts skill and ability that's being developed more and more and more. That's what's being put in to this grand championship that they give a gumball plastic cup award to. And that's what really makes it feel that way. Is that right, Tim? See how you didn't have to say it?
Yeah.
See how you didn't have to say it?
Yeah.
And Kathy, I do think that many of them are trying, and you know what? But these are still things that we'd like to see change, So no matter how great things are, there are always things that can improve. There's also things that are like, man, that is awesome. Look at this change, Like, again, I'm trying to figure out how to help some of these tournaments give a prize money for a Korean Challenge. It's been over a year now, and I'm still doing it for free, and we're doing 3 rounds, right? So at some point, for it to be taken seriously, there needs to be that next level. But I also understand it's hard to get sponsors. People forget I'm not just a competitor. I put on a big tournament for a long time too, so I get it as well. I'm a coach. I'm a school owner. Tim, same thing. He's a school owner. He's a coach. We all get it. So we're just trying to figure out how to push it in the best direction. And what's funny is, truthfully, the competitors are the ones that do it. Like us stepping up and saying, this is what we like. And honestly, sometimes it's just us competing over and over until it gets there. So yeah. So anyways, I'll stop rambling. But Tim, what were some of the best things this weekend? All right, besides your win. No, actually, time out. Let's talk about you and I winning the overall grands, because that was something that, if people don't know, like what we talked about, Tim and I are like, this is really one of my best friends. Okay, I was super happy when he joined Revolution, like a couple months after I did. And then it was funny because it was like an NBL reunion with him, myself, and Edgar all on the same team together. Do you want to share the story of like how we met?
I don't know if I'll do it as well as you.
I don't know. It's just so funny. Like, so we were at Survivor, which was honestly what you and I is probably one of our favorite top 4 events.
Oh yeah.
Corky Sykes put on a great tournament. And I think what was cool was just the night show. like literally this dude sold like 60 VIP tables, right? And it was just full of parents and students and everyone, and they were loud, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, the energy was just as much as any finals nowadays. That's for sure. Maybe a little more crazy. You know, they turn up hard in Jessup, Georgia.
They do. The South is a little different, right?
Oh yeah.
But we kind of, you know, were like, for what, 3 years in a row that year, I won Forms Grand, you won Weapons Grand, and we were always both against each other. And no matter what, people were starting rumors that we didn't like each other and everything. And then once all that ended, then it was like, what I think really after that Super Grand 2012, it was like, all right, buddy, hey man, and we were like in each other's corner forever since then, right? So
Right.
it's pretty funny. I mean, I'm sure there's more details to it that we can't share on the show, but just fun stuff. But Tim and I, like, we were some of the ones that the first that won, you know, multiple overall grand championships at Super Grands, you know, and we're the guys who kind of carried that flag from NBL to NASCA, and that we're winning first places on both in those 2011 to 2015 kind of year range. So we definitely took that NBL banner on our back for a while.
I wore my NBL belt at U.S. Open one year. I wore one of my overall belts. All my other karate belts were locked in my. I was teaching Kickstart at the time, so yeah, all my other belts were locked in my classroom. So the only belt I had was my NBL overall Super Grands belt, and I wore that to U.S. Open. Oh man, I got a whole bunch of second places that year.
Might not have been the best idea.
No, I should have just bought. I was too cheap to just buy a belt from a vendor.
Oh,
I would have
funny.
done the same thing though.
But this weekend, this was something that you and I talked about. You know, it was like, all right, you win Weapons Grand, I win Forms Grand. Of course, both of us want to win both, but it was a cool thing that, all right, let's make it happen. And I think the coolest thing too is, yes, both of us beating each other is a big deal, but also you add in Joey Castro, who's a legend in the sport and a great guy, and someone we've all battled with or competed against. Was this your first time competing against him, or did you? I'm trying to think, because I know he wasn't at some of the events you were at. Oh no, 2 years ago at Battle, you went against him in weapons. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I think that might have been the last time. Yeah. And so, you know, we usually battle a lot in the overall grand championships for traditional, and then every now and then in the seniors. So it was a big deal for both of us to pull out those wins over him and over each other. So that was a cool thing. What was some of the big moments what was some of the things you liked about this tournament? Because you hadn't been here in a long time.
Man, the 14 to 17 runoffs, that one was awesome. Jackson Hensley, man, that kid, through the tolerance for risk that some of these young competitors, up and comers have, is insane. You know, like, just to keep so well composed throughout the entire form, throwing those big release sections at the end, they're always pushing it, man. I'm not the first person to say there's been some legendary battles in 14 to 17, but that division was great. You know, Jackson made a very strong case for winning it. Judah ended up taking it home, but that was sick. That was awesome. And then there was it's always fun when you kind of know the inside stuff about certain injuries that happened before. You know, Alice Gross, she was injured. I think it was something with her foot, her big toe, or one of her toes. She was battling through that through the injury, and then, you know, doing CMX forms. So it's a lot when your feet hurt. So that was awesome as well.
She battled that to win the overall grand, you know, and she's been dealing with ankle injuries since the beginning of the year. So definitely toughened it out and has gotten better from the beginning of the year all the way to now, and just keeps getting better. So that was impressive. Also, I know Amanda Duarte, same thing. She put, like, day before the tournament, she did a flash kick and like landed on her Grants trophy from Pan Am's and cut the whole bottom of her foot up, and taped it up and kept going, and ended up winning the overall Forms Grand for that. So definitely lots of cool, like, warrior spirit type things, right?
Yeah. Also the women's 50+ grands. Oh man, Miss Roxanne. She her gay back, man. Those side kicks, she's kicking well above her head, and great.
Yeah.
Great.
So if people don't know, that is Gabrielle's mom, who is kicking butt still. And then of course we've seen her grandma as well do the same thing. So it's pretty awesome. Ben Clark says he loved seeing Jarvis back on the mat, which was cool. This is the first time I actually got to like meet him. He came up to me when I was actually leaving to go back to my hotel and introduced himself and said, I know we haven't met each other, but I know who you are. I was like, oh, it's like, he's just a good guy, man. And so it was cool to see him back. The other ones, there were several 3-way ties this weekend, and 2 of them happened in Korean divisions. Okay. So the 16-17 boys Korean was a 3-way tie. That was Mitchell Street, Noah Thomas, and also Kaysen. All 3 of those guys, 3-way tie. Noah Thomas came out on top from Team Revolution, changing it up, doing choreo, looking great. And then the women's Korean, which that division has become one of the most competitive divisions on the circuit. And I think we talked about that a while ago. And that was Gabrielle, Caitlin, and Lily, 3-way tie. And Caitlin came out on top with that, right? So that was just insane and intense. So the Korean divisions are competitive, and everyone's starting to notice. And we're also seeing some 9s in some of the runoffs for these junior ones. Okay, so things are making some changes are happening, but the more that we've seen these Korean forms, so that's been pretty cool. Was there any other ones?
Well, what else is great about the Korean forms too is we're starting to see different forms.
Right.
It's not the same old choreo, same old gay back, and not that I don't love to see a good one of either. I do. But when you start to see different ones, that does start to create some more intrigue.
Right. Or even different versions, like you're seeing not everyone do the exact same, concept. Some are going more traditional. Some are kind of flaring it up a little bit with the NASCAR. We can go back to saying NASCAR sizing it, but that's that legendary term.
I think it's appropriate to say, but yeah,
it is. The other division to me that I just love watching is the 14-15 boys anything, because literally the person who gets 8th place one tournament could get 1st place the next. It's literally that intense and that crazy, with so many different competitors. You got
in all divisions
Gavin,
in that age group,
Nolan, Zeke, Wasim, so many ones, Magnus, so many different competitors. They're just killing it on the circuit. So that's been fun to see.
Most testosterone built division there is the 14-15 boys, whatever. It's just a whole lot of testosterone and BO.
And the cool thing is, with all that parity in that ring, is the later they get in the year, they're battling harder and harder and harder, because most people start their forms at the beginning of the year and then they kind of like build off of that.
Ooh,
but they're chasing points, and they're in the thick of it right now. So they're breaking out new sections, new choreography, new releases every tournament, and man, it's exciting to watch. It is great.
Yeah, it's cool to build, and this is why I tell you, that's why, and Alex agrees with me too, is like, that's why it's like, for me, Diamonds is just fun, because by the end of the year, everyone's kind of figured out what form, what their base is, and then they still have maybe one extra move that they want to surprise people to make that Diamonds moment, right? And especially after that intense period that we had from, Miami battle and US Open, which is just very exhausting, right?
You have your Diamonds moment ready, Jeff? Are we going to finally see Moon Moo on stage?
I did it the past 2 years, Tim.
You did.
The past 2 years. So that's
your turn. Doing it, and then there's doing it. But okay.
Oh, I know. Doing it. Wow, look at this guy. See, this is our relationship here. All right.
How about you, Tim? Your turn. Next man up.
Oh, I have a
Crank,
form
crank
ready.
out a moon
Oh
move.
yeah, I have like 3 tricks, three different weapons tricks that are ready to go, and then I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna be the first 30-plus-year-old to dub in a form. So
Let's do it.
we'll see how healthy I can stay when it starts getting cold outside again.
Ben Clark said the 16-17 open weight was intense. Yeah, that was true. I mean, you had so many in there. Is it even that? Is it 16? I thought it was like 15-17. But yeah, I mean, that group was intense. There were so many great competitors in that as well. There's so much from this tournament.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, I think it was 15-17 because I thought it was 12-14 with the other one, but it's okay. All right. What was some of the best things that you saw? What was one of the best things you saw in the finals, Tim?
Oh man, Korean challenge for the for the ladies.
Yes,
Man,
the ladies.
Lily,
yes. I knew you were going to say that.
Whew, she threw down a fantastic form, which she made a lot of fans when she started sticking that twist kick, but I swear every single kick she threw up, and afterwards she was like, oh, how was it? I was feeling really tired, but I was like, oh man, no, every kick she was firing up there. Like she did a round kick, which went straight to the back, but that thing was probably one of the first like true 12 o'clock kicks I've seen in a while. And man, she threw a fantastic form. Master Juan, he has a certain style with training those Korean forms, well, really any of their trad forms. The pace and peak that they use down there, it's exciting. It's fun to watch. When they get to their axe kick sections, they are reaching up, trying to tear down the chandeliers. So it was a great form she had, and then I feel like you only get to see those level of forms when the competition is equally as fantastic. So, that battle between her and Caitlin on stage was very exciting.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see that since Lily's moved into the adults. I mean, it's been amazing. All right, let's go to this.
Their demo. They're doing crazy stuff, crazy level of risk. So much talent on their team. I loved watching their demo team compete as well.
All right, so this is a good question that Rich Osborne has.
Too.
Outside the box question for Tim: increased ATA crossover. Could it happen to the NASCA events? What are open events missing compared to the ATA? Which, if people don't know, Tim has been an multiple ATA world champion, as well as NBL and ISKA and WACO and WKA. And I'm sure I'm missing another one, and soon NASCA.
Mathematically speaking, it's kind of already happened,
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Well, I guess this question is more about what would the crossover be like, and do you see the crossover being more of a possibility? Well,
from ATA to NASCA.
Yeah.
And what are the open events missing compared to that? Yeah.
This feels like a very weighted question. I
feel like this is another one where I should come in and answer so that you don't have to say, okay. So what I think, right, is that there's just too many rules for it to be a truly open circuit, because this is an open circuit. Anybody's welcome to come and register and be a part of, but nobody can really compete unless you've been doing it or trained within a school that does, within a system that does this type of competition training for an extended period. So it's open, but not really, right? Mm-hmm. And it's hard. And I like to toe that line because I like rules and structure, but it also kind of makes it a closed circuit, right? At least the ATA says what it is. Like, we're a closed circuit, right? This is what we are, right? And there's a lot of people. Would you say that there's more people that compete in the ATA championship?
Not anymore. I
No.
don't think
Okay.
it's anymore.
I thought that ATA, like, end of the year championship was just huge and massive. I've never been to one. Right.
It was. There was
Okay.
There was a little split, probably
Yes.
very similar to the WACO to WKA to WKC to WKU,
Sure.
one of those splits.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the amount of people at the
But
ATA
at what
does
point
their, ATA does their top 10. So they're top 10. So still usually just the 10 people plus the winners from their regional conferences, districts. Yeah, they take their district champions and they take their top 10, and then that's who they compete for their world titles with. So there's like 14, I think, ish people competing for each world title in ATA. And then it's just like NASCAR. There's a chance for the people at the bottom of the bracket to win, but usually the people who have been following the circuit the most and have that high seed at the end of the year, usually it's going to come from one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, and usually those people are among the best. So
look at what you just said. So you basically just said that a closed circuit does everything exactly the same as an open circuit, and the closed circuit at least acknowledges and says, hey, this is who we are. We're a closed circuit. If you want to compete with us, you got to do it like us. You can't do that. These are the rules. You do it just like this. That's the way. And it's essentially the same thing. All right. Just wear a different uniform. That's the downside. And I'm not exactly sure where I want to lie on it personally, because like I said, I like a lot of structure. I like a lot of clarification. What is the rule here? What are we doing? But then the more rules, the more things you put in there, the more you start to say, well, it's not truly open now, is it? That's the tough part.
Although I will say this, for the traditional divisions in the ATA, they all have to use the same traditional forms. So they have the center judge who judges for the pattern, and then one of the judges, I don't remember which one it is, the right or left, they judge stances, the other one judges hand techniques. So you could essentially mess up the pattern completely, and you could still kind of win a division. You could have like 9-5-9 or something like that. So it is interesting, and you do see a lot more consistency of foot placement and stances on the ATA circuit than NASCAR, where depending on which judge you talk to will depend on how important that back foot is and where that back foot is pointing in the divisions. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a little bit more of what Richard was talking about. Like, where do you see those like ATA form specialists? How could they have a place in NASCAR events? Would it be Korean Challenge? And do you see that even being a possibility?
Korean Challenge, because they can't do any of their forms.
I know.
But in the Korean division,
a good martial arts athlete could figure it out if they wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. The Korean the difficulty of the ATA forms, they're hard. They're hard, and then they're long. I think my significant other Rissa, she would speak a lot better to this, because she won the ATA world titles with a third and the fifth degree form, which are two of the hardest forms in their organization. Probably each of them is Moonmoo level-esque difficulty. So they're very difficult forms, very difficult. I tried to do them. I think the best I ever placed at any tournament was like a third place or something like that. Like they're tough. They're tough. If you don't train them, then good luck. I think that so many there's several ATA former competitors that could be killing it in the Korean divisions that just decide not to. They the first one over the wall, right? One person has to make the decision to actually throw an ATA form. Besides, one of Bear's students.
Man, how long ago was it? Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but she did it, and she did it on NBL and NASCAR and did very well. Yeah, she won many times on NBL with it. I know that. But
with an ATA form
10 years ago.
See,
yeah,
they could do it for sure. They could definitely do it.
Yeah,
You know,
All right, Tim. So
other divisions would be tough. Like sparring, because they don't punch to the head, that would be very tough to cross over.
yeah. All right. So Tim, what is the next? Well, obviously, what's all right. How do you see this year finishing? What were your goals this year, and or if you want to share them, what's next for you to finish out this year and going into next year?
Oh man. Okay. This was my one of my personal goals was so obviously I'm a big Matt Emick fan. I think every karate nerd is a big Matt Emick fan. I remember his year where he yes, Andrea Guzman should do it. Sorry. Yes. Was to one of his goals one year was to win 10 NASCAR Grand Championships. So that was one of my goals this year. I wanted to win 10, which, you know, I hadn't won any at the time. So when I made the goal, I wanted to win 10. I'm at 9 now. So I think you know, fingers crossed that could happen. So that was one of my goals coming into this year. I also wanted to win my first NASCAR world title. And I honestly didn't think that ISK would be in the cards. So that was like one of my long-term plans was hopefully to win an ISK title. That's one of the most elusive, you know, titles to win because you got to be picked.
Right. So
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be nice to win diamonds. That'd be cool. I'm going to Portugal for WKC this year, so I'd like to try to win the overall grands there again and go back to back. And then goals going forwards, I'd like to see some of my students do well on NASCAR. I mean, I already had one of my students, Charlize. Her first NASCAR tournament was Battle of Atlanta this year. She did Battle in U.S. Open. She won both of those and made it to runoffs. She won she won the Korean Challenge and her Korean division there. So that was she did great. It'd be cool to see some of my other students make it. I want to win an 18 plus division and make it to stage in one of those. I think that'd be cool. I know you have to compete in 18 plus to win 18 plus. It's like you got to play the lottery to win the lottery. But I would really I think I pulled a 9 in one of my 18 plus divisions I decided to do randomly. I don't do it at every tournament. I think it was Pan Am's I pulled a 9. I'd like to do that. I'd like to get on stage in an 18 plus division. I want to be like you, Jeff. I want to be competing with the youngins up there. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Well, I feel like I can still meet them with the level of firepower I need.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't we all want to be like Jeff? Isn't that what we all want to do?
We all just want to have a middle name like well, it's not your middle name. It might as well be your middle name now. Sushi's way cooler than Roy, but yeah.
It is. I know, man. I ate at a Roy Rogers on the way home. Okay, man. Roy's kind of cool name. The singing cowboy. All right. Oh man. All right. So Tim, you'll be Amerikick next, right?
Yes, Amerikick next.
All right. Awesome. And we got diamonds and after that, right? And then I think you also said you're going to be doing the league finals this year.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I don't know the rules completely yet, but I will be doing that one, and I will read the rules very well beforehand. I think it's similar to how NBL kind of did a lot of their stuff. So I'm hoping that I don't have to do a wild card division, but I'm ready to do a wild card division if I need to, if it is exactly like NBL.
Nice. Yeah. Well, dude, this has been fun. And of course, we will have to have you back on to talk other stuff. I mean, we could just have you on just to talk about some of your favorite competitors because you have a lot of different. Actually, let's do this right now before we finish up.
Drop us with one.
And when we did a show where we did our favorite common competitors, and then a lot of the other people we've had on, foreign people, we've asked them the same thing to kind of chime in. Share some of yours and some that maybe we didn't talk about as well.
My favorite like forms of weapons competitors.
Comma.
No, comma competitors of all time. Yeah, since you're the man in comma.
Man, that's so tough. You got
Doesn't
you got to
have to be
mention
wrong.
you got to mention certain people. Like you got to mention
But your favorite.
my
Your
favorite. My
yes,
favorite.
just your favorite.
Not politically correct. Just your favorite.
I have so many favorites. That's the hard thing.
Share some of the ones you were telling me about the other day while we were talking.
Okay, I love obviously I love Rudy Raynon, the he just total package as far as all the cuts and all the dynamic movement.
I think he's everyone's absolute favorite.
Big fan of Jimmy Pham. Big fan of Jimmy Pham. You know, he cut a little different, but man, he was smooth with it. His manipulation's very smooth. Matt
he
Cato.
rotated him well.
Yeah, Matt Cato was one of the first people to actually throw those commas in the air. Loved Matt Cato. I think people would say my most memorable move was the double release I do into the Webster. I got the double inward release from him. I saw a video of him from Quebec Open. Can't remember. I don't know the year. Probably 2005, actually. Maybe 2004. Anyways, him throwing that one, super great, super awesome. Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite comma people. And then there's the the contemporaries, the ones that I competed with, which I competed with Rudy in 14-15. So many guys I could shout out. Gotta give love to Cole. Gotta give love to Cole, Presley, Tyler Weaver. I think Tyler and I had a pretty, I don't know if you can say a backstage session is historic, but if it could be historic, me and Tyler one year, I think it was 2012, 2013. We were bouncing comma ideas off of each other, and we came up with the cradle that year where where you toss it up and you grab it. We were playing with a bunch of variations that ended up getting into our forms. I think we were playing with this one back then, and then I think this one we figured out backstage also. So that one was pretty cool. Yeah, gotta give love to him. I know Stephen Rennie actually came up with a bunch of Michaela Johnson's comma work and Austin Crane's comma work. So, and I used to trick with Stephen. So I'm going to say Stephen Rennie is one of my favorite comma competitors, even though he did like one form, I think, with commas. It was dope, though. It was awesome. He did this thing where he like pulled it in and tossed it up and cradled it and then into a touchdown rise. It was awesome. Yeah, he's a genius, man. Stephen Rennie. Got to give love to my man.
Definitely a genius. And it's so funny because you know what?
Alive. He had Second Life on the show right now.
I know. Tim got all excited. This is what he was doing before while he was waiting. Okay, he was like still practicing playing with his commas, so which I didn't doubt because I know Tim. But yeah, Stephen Rennie, man, him and I used to compete together in '95, and then he just kind of disappeared, and then he came back on the circuit bald, and I didn't even realize it was the same person from when we were until like, hey, no, like me. It's like, dude, when I saw you had a bowl cut, okay? Like, what the heck? You don't look the same. But yes. But yeah, so I love Steve as well. A genius of our sport. So, and I love seeing him every year at AKA because that's always fun. So
yeah, I was totally shocked. I didn't know he was going to be there this year. Yeah. I was like, man, I was excited to see him. I was hyped. I saw him watching one of my rings on the side, and dude, it pumped me up a little bit. It's like Kalman Choka showed up at Cowboy Up this year, and I changed my whole form because I was planning on doing a certain form, and then I was like, man, Kalman's standing ringside. I gotta go harder. What I was gonna do wasn't good enough, so I changed my form just a little bit.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, because he was standing there, and Kalman just he adds this level of intensity where just his presence. I don't know. It's just because I'm a big fan.
I get it.
But like him and Marcel, Marcel Jones will give the same level of intensity because they'll just stand there like this. And like, you'll know you did good when you guys, like, that's like his biggest cheers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, having all the OGs around, I call them OGs. It depends on who you're talking to, OGs, but contemporary OGs.
I love it. I love it. All right, Tim. I know. Well, you're like me. We're still at our karate school, so time to get home, or you'll probably run through sections after this is done. So who knows?
I don't know. I'm kind of excited talking all this karate, so I might.
I know. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thanks, bro, and congrats on your wins this weekend. And it was really a cool moment for us to do this together, representing the team, but also something we talked about for a while in the senior division. So, and thank you for continuing to push me and give me feedback when you don't have to. So I really appreciate that.
When you don't ask for it.
Yeah, when I don't ask for it. Hilarious.
That's a great brotherhood, though.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It is.
It
Thank
is.
you
All
guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Had a great time.
This was just the first time. It ain't the last time.
That's right.
Cool.
Right. And next week we are celebrating 5 years, man. So that's not 10, 5.
5 years of Inside Scoop.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
All right. Alex.
Come on. If you don't know, you know. Now
No,
you know.
yeah, exactly. You know.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you next week. Thank you, Tim Conkel.